When I first joined, what we do then to what we do now has really varied, and it's varied based on what the requirement of the aircraft carrier has been, what the National Command Authority has tasked the aircraft carrier to do. Let's look at my first cruise. Back in the mid-90s, we went off and we did some operations over Iraq called Operation Southern Watch. And then I spent the next 6 months in the Mediterranean going port to port to port. It was a lot of fun. I was really broke when it was done, but it was a lot of fun. Then September 11th hit, and we've spent a whole bunch of time over Iraq and over Afghanistan and flying missions over there. And so the location really is what has changed so significantly. But what an aircraft carrier can do, it's time eternal. It can go anywhere in the world. It can do all different types of things. An aircraft carrier lasts for over 50 years. The flexibility on board the aircraft carrier is amazing. The things that change, the weapon system or the aircraft that change on there, stay up. Even though the aircraft carrier might be 50 years old, I cruised on the Enterprise back when she was 40 years old, and she lasted another 11 years after that. She was an old aircraft carrier, it seemed, but darned if we couldn't do anything that the nation needed us to do on board. The thing that hasn't changed is the fact that we're still out here doing our business, serving our country, and missing our families, just like you would expect we would. The best advice I could give to someone who's wondering about keeping up the daily grind and doing what we do out here is to remember that it is for a much greater good. It is not just us. This is our time to serve, truly our time to sacrifice while we're out here. We are what keeps our nation safe. We ply the waters all over the world. Our nation is a nation of trade, and we help keep the waterways safe. And to know that you are part of something like that that is actually protecting the United States at least gives me strength, and I believe it will give most of us strength as well. I am Commander Carrier Air Wing 9. I'm stationed on the USS John C. Stennis, which is part of Carrier Strike Group 3, which is currently deployed as part of a regular deployment to the Western Pacific. And we're over here in the 7th Fleet operating area, operating around the seas in international waters and doing whatever the National Command Authority has directed us to do. As the CAG, I actually do fly a whole bunch more than people think. I fly almost every single day. It's kind of one of the benefits of the position. It's also one of the most important parts of the position is to get out there and to really show that the aviators that I can do it too. I've been doing it for years and years, and it's good to get out and show some leadership, get out there and fly with them. It's good to see the energy that they have. It's also something it is a perishable skill, but it comes back very quickly. The analogy that it's like riding a bike is not far off of the way it really is. Once you get in an aircraft and you close the canopy, you can be in there for a long time, especially a single seat where there's not a lot of room to wiggle. It's about the size of a regular seat, then strap yourself to it so you can only move like a couple inches in each direction. And once you get the aircraft started though, fortunately you do have air conditioning. So I get up there, and although it might be 120 on the flight deck, I close the canopy and I turn on the air conditioning and I make it nice and cool inside there. Same goes for it's really cold on the flight deck, I'll turn up the heat and make it nice and warm. With that said, the most limiting part of being in an aircraft, especially an ejection seat type of aircraft, is the fact that you're strapped to the seat. Where it really becomes a problem is when you have those long flights. We were flying missions in Afghanistan that were exceedingly long, and you would be coming back to the carrier at night and you're barely feeling your toes because you've been sitting in one spot without moving for so long. So that's the only challenge that you sometimes run into. The mental endurance or the safety part of what we do, I've been doing this business for a long time. Actually, if you watch me climb into my airplane, actually, as soon as I put on my flight gear and I walk up onto the flight deck, I'll actually take my hand, bang it against my head 3 times, tell myself, Brophy, keep your head in the game. And that's what I use. It gets me to remember that this is a dangerous business. Over the years, I've lost a lot of friends to this business, but we've gotten much safer over the years. To now the levels are exceedingly, which are low, which is good, always good to get them better. But it's the amount of training that we do and the workups that we do to get there is really what keeps us safe. We use many different practices every single time that there's a mishap or anytime something is broken on an aircraft. We do an investigation on it, and those investigations get folded back in, and we keep trying to make what we do better, safer, more effective. Each squadron has what's called a CAG bird. The CAG bird is the one bird that they're allowed to paint up in whatever colors they want, and some go way overboard with it. Some make it more subtle, but each one is distinctive and it's their own personal flavor of what they want to do. It's kind of their pride of their squadron. And what I think is kind of neat, it's got my name on it, so I don't complain. I'm definitely not ready to walk away from it. When I started this as a young kid wanting to do it when I was 5 and I watched that F-4 Phantom fly up straight, I knew I wanted to do that my whole life. Here I am, I'm mid-aged now. I'd like to think I'm younger than what I really am, and I'm still doing it. I've got kids off in college now, and I'm still doing what I've wanted to do my whole life. So once I'm finally done, it's probably going to be a pretty sad day when I finally have to hang it up and call it a day. But I'm not willing to give up yet. Still flying.